Hello. So I'm going to do some Caribbean cooking today. This is my first time ever doing a cooking video. Never done that before, so I don't know how that's going to go. I'm making ackee and saltfish, by the way, which is a classic Jamaican dish. And I'm going to start with the saltfish first. It's been in this pan soaking for the day to get all the salt away. The next step is to get rid of the water, put some fresh water in and get it on to boil. I'm also going to make some fried dumplings, so I'm going to get that on the go once this is starting to boil. This is my second time doing this particular recipe. It took me ages to even be brave enough to do any Jamaican style cooking because I was scared that I would get it wrong and do my Jamaican heritage a disservice, and I didn't want that to be a thing, so I basically just avoided it for so long. Even though my cooking was getting better and better, Jamaican cooking still took a while for me to feel comfortable with, so I've only done this one time so far before, and it was an absolute success, to be fair. It went really well, so hopefully it goes just as well this time, and I won't be scared off again in the future, because I would like to do it again, because I really love Jamaican food. I really do enjoy it, but obviously don't really get to have it too often. This bit now with the dough, from what I remember last time, was the challenging bit, because you want it to be kind of flaky-ish, not wet. You don't want it to be wet, then it's not going to be a very nice dumpling. So you got to be careful with the amount of water that you add. The last time I did this, it felt like I didn't add enough water. I didn't like the consistency of it, so I added some more water. Then I realised it was too wet. So I had to add some more flour to make it dry, and then it ended up making some perfect dumplings, to be fair. So I'm going to have to be careful to try and get it right first time round this time. And last time I was mixing it with my hands, which I think is probably the way that you're supposed to do it, but when I did that, my hands got all sticky and gross, so I'm trying to use a spoon this time. See, this feels like I've not got enough water at all. There we go. Have a little look from the bottom. But I've got to trust the process. While I'm doing this, I might as well give you a quick training update as well. I can't remember if I mentioned it at the end of my last video. I basically took the week off training last week because I just needed a bit of time to reset and recover and get everything at home back on track, because the weeks in between Berlin and Montreal and Berlin and then Xi'an were just so filled with training basically, and no time to actually get myself back together. I never felt like I got into a decent window. I always felt like I was playing catch up with myself, whether it was with washing or cleaning or whatever else I had going on. I was just always on the move, so I needed just a little bit of time, which I took after Xi'an, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it. And then once I got back into training, I actually felt ready to get back to training, which is a really important thing. It's always hard to train when you don't feel like it. It literally took me until the Sunday after I got back to get over the jet lag. Now that I'm over it, I feel like I can move well again, starting to train a bit better now, trying to make some really specific changes and improvements on some technique. Again, if you've been following it, the dives weren't so good in China and in Berlin, but that's because I really just didn't have time to reset and settle after the first two legs of the World Cup. Now I've got a bit of time building internationals to just recover, improve technique on some things, so that when I get to nationals I can have a nice little run out and then have a good long period of time to build up into the Olympics in Paris, because as I said many times before, that's the main goal. That's why this playlist is called Peak for Paris. That's Peak for Paris in French, if you didn't figure that bit out already. I'd really like to make a final there, so to do that I need to dive well. And to dive well, I need to make sure my technique is on point, because Lord knows all those other divers are going to be really, really on point and really diving well out there. So I need to make some improvements now so that I can potentially catch them up. So I can definitely be in the mix. If I dive well, if I dive to my best level, I'm in the mix for sure. I'll be well within that top 12. I would actually confidently say comfortably in that top 12 if I do my best performance in the semi-final. And if I do just below my best in the prelim, I'll be well within that top 18 as well. That's also something I've got to try to not lose sight of, is the prelim. As much as I want the final, you got to get through the prelim first. But then at the same time, I put so much pressure and expectation on myself in the prelim and delivered a really good prelim performance, then not had enough left for the semi-final, and that's when I've fallen short. So I've got to make sure that I'm good, but not too good in the prelim. So I've got some room to improve. When I get to the semi-final, I can step up and make the improvements that I need to do from the prelim and put a good enough performance in to try and make it into a final. So we'll see how that plays out, but that's the goal and that's the hope. Right, that is needed. Feels too dry still, so I'm not sure. I'm going to leave it for a little bit, come back to it. In the meantime, I'm going to start chopping. Okay, you have to promise to not judge me right now, but this is genuinely the most effective method that I've figured out of slicing an onion. So the goggles are on. See that? Onion chopped and no tears. Who's laughing now? Right, onion done, tomato done, pepper done, don't have a scallion, that's alright. Got some dried thyme, not the live stuff that they're talking about. I'm not doing the Scotch bonnet pepper because they don't need all that flavour. That's alright. Alright, that's the vegetables chopped, here we go. Sorted. Now let's get back to this dough. See if we can get the right consistency. I actually think this dough's on point now. Feels good. Bang. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I think this has been boiling for about 15 minutes, so we're going to get that off the boil. Put that in some cold water, and then I need to start cooking the vegetables. So what I'm going to do actually before I start cooking is roll out the dumplings, get them on a plate. I put that in cold water first. Here's my saltfish in cold water. He's going to be so light. I think it might be a little bit underdone with the water. No, I just need to squeeze it together. Yeah, that's better. Squeeze it together. Yes, there's my dumplings. There we go. Don't think it really matters. There's some more in there. So it's all nice and ready to receive the dumplings. Spray on there. Alright, I just have a little tie up of everything. Now the vegetables are ready to go on the pan. Add some thyme. Time to get the ackee involved. Just a little fold to incorporate it. No, I'm not going to touch that, I'm going to leave it alone. Focus on the dumplings. Alright, dumplings are done. Just over there. Ackee and saltfish is done. Just over there. I'm going to plate up now. I'm going to add a little bit of rice to my plate just to complete the dish. I wish I had rice and peas, but I ain't got rice and peas. So, you know, it is what it is. But had a taste of the dumpling and they're a bit deformed, but they've got personality. I mean, let me show you one. bit of a weird shape, but let's say they have personality. So, yep, going to plate up now and show you the plate when I'm done. Let's hope that this nicely fuels my training for tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. And also, any Jamaican people watching, let me know how I got on. Let me know how it looks, what you think, what I could do better. Tell me. Well, I think it helps me. Except maybe one or two things, but I felt pretty rough, so probably helped.